Good day, Bulls, and we're here with a special edition Bulls Roundup interview with our interim head coach, Jaquatin Victrum. Hey, Coach, how are you today?
What's up? I'm doing well.
Okay, awesome. You just coming from off a good high last night. We won our first round of playoffs from 70-0 against the Somerset Academy. Just tell us a little bit of how you got to this point as the interim head coach of Miami Northwestern.
Well, my journey started back in high school. I was class of 2013. I graduated here from Miami Northwestern, and kind of, I played football also too for 4 years. I was a team captain for 2. I went along to Clark Atlanta University, where I also started and played football there and was team captain for a few years too. And I graduated with a degree in education. So, my coaching journey kind of started there. Then I kind of moved a couple states around the way, North Carolina, Boston, started my coaching journey. And then I moved back to Miami late 2019, and I was able to get a job at Somerset Academy, which is full circle moment for me for sure.
Awesome. So you were able to play against your old team last night. How did that feel?
At first it was like man, God working mysterious ways. That was the first school that I coached at down here in Miami, and to also see the trajectory that program has come from. Since I've been to be able to make a playoff run like they did, and but for me it was just a full circle moment. It felt really good and connected for sure.
Awesome. And they're also coached by a Bull, correct?
Yes, Coach Nitro Baker for sure, yeah.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit of how it is to coach the younger generation of Bulls and to instill that Bull pride from which you were reared and raised in. Tell me, how is that going with the younger Bulls?
It's trying to get information over to the younger guys can be a little bit difficult these days, just in general, how the younger generation operates. But, being a guy like me who understands the culture and the tradition, what it takes to be a Bull here at Miami Northwestern, I continue to reiterate that to those guys every day. I model it myself every day too, so that they have something to look at and say, okay, hey, this is an example of, what a Bull is and what a Bull's supposed to do and, how he's supposed to work. So just continuing to be consistent at, showing them the culture and the tradition daily is something that I do for sure.
Awesome. And we do appreciate all that you are instilling with these guys. You are on a fast trajectory to state for the second time, as you were 2024 state champions, and now we're going to be 2025 state champions. Tell me, how was that matriculation for you? From last year, you was also the head coach of JV to now being our interim head coach this year. Tell me, how did that go for you?
Last year was a quite eventful for me, but having Coach Teddy Bridgewater come in and appoint me to the head football of the JV, that was my test. That was my learning curve right there. I didn't know this was coming. I didn't know any of this was actually happening. But just being where I needed to be to receive the blessing that that God had for me. So that's pretty much how I took it, and I'm actually I'm running with it right now. You get what I'm saying? I think I'm doing a pretty good job, but it's still learning curves even for me as a first year coach to continue to develop and grow as a coach daily. So just continue to just stay consistent at what I do pretty much.
Awesome. Also, I just want to, for those that don't know Coach Victrum, right? What is something that you can and partake into our audience about who Coach Victrum is and what Coach Victrum stands for. Because you're kind of quiet, right? You don't say much. You're kind of a keep your head down and focus type fella. So I just want you to let our audience know, for those that may not know who you are, never seen you before, this is their first introduction. Just let them know a little bit about Coach Victrum and how he operates, how he thinks, and what he sees the vision for the Miami Northwestern football program moving forward.
Well, the words I can use is tough love. I give it out a lot around here, not just to players, but to coaches, to other kids that go to school here also too. It's just not only just about football for me, it's also about these kids that's walking these halls. That was once me walking these halls and needed somebody like me now. And it just, I believe in tough love, just honestly, you know what I'm saying? I received tough love when I was here too. And not saying like the tough love, you have to be like super gritty on them. I am gritty, but also I make sure that I show that love to those guys, because some of these kids, they don't have mom, they don't have dad, they may not have grandma or something like that. So the next family or next of kin that they have would be, this football team and the coaches that's on here. So, I do kind of take this, just that much serious. But overall, a lot of the kids, a lot of the people, a lot of the parents, they may see me as a disciplinary guy, structure. We got to do the little things the right way. I believe that doing the simple things consistently right, breeds good habits. So just being a disciplinary guy, that's my main thing. And I think discipline, it breeds hard work along the way too. And it helps develop, a young man that will be able to, survive and thrive in our society for years to come. So that's what this is all about pretty much. And just seeing these guys maybe 5 to 10 years from now with their families, maybe, being a coach. Because like I tell those guys all the time, I remember being on the knee and somebody saying well, one day you're going to be the coach here and you're going to do this and this and that. And I'm like, man, no, that's never going to be me. But, full circle moment, this is me now. But yeah, this is who I am, though. I am a tough guy, but I'm also a loving.
Awesome, Coach Victrum. So, one last question. Tell the Miami Northwestern Bull community what community looks like for you and relates to the kids, the school, the program, everything that encompasses.
For me, community for me means everything. That's why it's Miami Northwestern Community School. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
The community is everything. That's who we play for. That's who we do what we do for. You get what I'm saying? And even also too, after I graduated high school here, I became a part of that community, watching games from 1,000 miles away, 500 miles away. That community is strong. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the support week in and week out. And just let's continue to rally around the right stuff. That's the stuff that I want to see. Like you said, we got to be the change that we want to see. So if we want to see a change, we got to all come on, continue to come on one collective, agreement to, to get things done for these young men and for our school and also for our community, which is super important for sure.
Yeah. Because they are our future, right? Mm-hmm. And we may not be here much longer. Mm-hmm. Who knows? God knows. But the school...
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the MNWAA network.